Hi, I'm Mo, and this is a stupid podcast, but I'm glad someone's happy.
And I'm TJ, and I'm going to perform this whole podcast in sign language.
You're just giving me the middle finger. And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to our Student Us, damn it. I'm Mo, he's TJ, he's just said, and we're here to watch every movie ever made to be invited to every party ever.
Like the parties that we saw in this movie.
Yeah!
I'd love to go to one of those.
Exactly.
Is that what they're really like, do you think?
I think so.
Playing poker and hanging on the words of the host?
Maybe. Possibly, yes. But we don't know, because we've never been invited, so what can we say?
Can't comment on
Can't
it.
comment, no, can't comment on that at all.
That's a dawner.
Yeah.
Good to see you, though.
Good to see you.
You've
too,
got a
TJ.
very, very a vibrant party atmosphere shirt.
Hawaiian shirt, folks.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is
I'm a party
begging to
dude.
be invited to a party.
Yeah. I'm going to a wedding. Does that count as a party?
Yeah, tangential to a
Tangential
party.
to a party?
Yeah.
Party adjacent.
Party adjacent. Yeah, I
so
like
not
that.
full party, but somewhat party.
It's on the party spectrum kind
Yeah.
of, but farther from the.
Yeah, so not officially a party.
It's not a rager.
So I can't count. I can't count this. So
No, is it family, friends? What do you got?
It's family, friends.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we have to keep on doing this podcast until we invite to a party. Then okay.
For the love of God, someone free us from this
Free us!
prison!
Oh God, it's torture. Oh
Anyway,
God.
we're back with another review for a movie that is new to us.
Yes.
Damn it.
It is new to us, damn it. Yes.
Yeah.
And but first, before we talk about this movie, we must enter the banter zone.
Highway to the banter zone. Wanna take a ride into the banter zone. I give you credit. I'm not even ballsy enough to try the high octave.
That's true.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, but I think we need to practice that more because we're not in sync yet. We gotta be in sync while we do it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was very good.
That was good.
We'll work on
We'll work on it.
Maybe we'll get some professional production.
Yeah,
one
maybe
of these
we would.
days.
We can probably pay a guy to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
You think Mark Wahlberg's available? He can do it?
No.
No.
We tried his agent, remember?
Oh yeah, we did.
We got several angry emails back. And
Yeah. I think we said because we said we're huge fans of Paul Thomas Anderson.
I'm not even allowed in Boston anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably good. So it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck him. I like Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, definitely. All right, TJ. We're now into the banter zone. It's now time for us to banter a little bit, but not too much, because I can't edit a 2-hour-long podcast for our software.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As listeners will note, our last review, Bob Roberts, had to be split into two, and that's
Yeah.
because of the limitation of the equipment we have
Yes.
here. So
Yeah, so that's why it took 2 months, not because we're lazy.
yeah, just bear with us.
Yes,
you know.
it was not because I was lazy. Not because of that. It was not that at all. No.
No.
Not that at all. It was
We had a lot to say about Bob Roberts.
we did have a lot to say. It was two hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, TJ, what have you been watching, reading, or doing whatever you have to do?
Well, I've been in some more master's classes here, so a lot of corporate finance
Boo!
Yes, yes.
Education, boo!
What? Are corporate financiers unpopular? Are
Boo!
CEOs and CFOs unpopular all of a sudden? Are big banks unpopular?
Yes, TJ, I'm surprised you haven't heard yet.
I've wasted so much time.
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, I've been watching through the original Twilight Zone. As I said last time, I'm in season 3, so right in the thick of the best, like the start of the prime era 3 and onward. I would argue are absolutely the prime. In fact, I just watched the episode the other night with Peter Falk as a Central American revolutionary who overthrows the government. He may or may not be in brownface in that episode. It's called The Mirror.
Is that the one where, like... No, that's not the one where a person is on the opposite side of the enemy and then somehow becomes the enemy?
No, that's the one with Leonard Nimoy. That is, what the hell's that episode called? Damn it, I can't remember what that one's called offhand, but that's a good one too.
Yeah.
This one's called The Mirror, and he plays more or less like a revolutionary, like a Fidel Castro type, who he and his buddies overthrow the oppressive dictator. The dictator warns him not to look in the mirror that's in the dictator's office, and that it will only show your enemies. And one by one, every time Peter Falk looks in the mirror, he sees one of his friends about to turn on him. So he sentences them. He conspires to get them all killed, and then he's found, that he can't trust anybody. It's the who would ever want to be king type of dynamic, right?
I understand that.
Let's see. Otherwise, I wish I could say I was able to watch more recently. I've been just very busy with personal and academic pursuits. But I did find out recently that I do a half-good Michael McDonald impression.
Oh, I do.
Not the Mad TV actor, but the singer.
The singer? Can you do better than Rick Moranis?
Probably not.
No.
Rick Moranis is very talented. But I just found this out when just out of the blue I started singing, "He came from somewhere back in her long ago. A sentimental fool."
Yeah, you do it better than I do. I
can't hit the
can do
high
the
notes, though.
high. I don't think I
Yeah.
can do the low. Let me try. He came from somewhere back in the long ago. A sentimental fool. Yeah, I think I
That's
can do. I
good.
can do better high than low.
See, I can't. I smoked for 15 years.
Yeah.
A year and a half quit, by the way.
Way to
Damn
go.
near.
Woo.
Yeah, I'll take that. And yeah, I can't hit the high notes anymore. But if someone ever wants to do karaoke at a party, for instance, and they
Yeah.
want to do "Ride Like the Wind," I'll gladly. Such a long way to go. But
I can
no,
do
so
Christopher
that
Cross.
you can do Christopher
Yeah.
Cross, and then
Turns out my dad hates Christopher Cross.
why?
I don't know. We were listening to, I know my dad likes Michael McDonald and all those oldies and stuff and Doobie
Yeah.
Brothers. So like maybe he'll like Christopher Cross, and he's like, turn this shit off. I'm like,
Your dad is the most mellow guy in the world.
Yeah.
For him to have a strong negative reaction
Just
to
like, this is shit.
Christopher,
I'm
like I could see someone even not liking Michael McDonald,
Yeah.
just because his voice is so different. I
Yeah.
like Michael McDonald, but I don't know. Christopher Cross to me is such a neutral sound.
Yeah.
And "Ride Like the Wind" is a banger.
yeah,
That's an absolute
that's
banger.
true.
Let's see though. Watched the Lions game the other night.
Yay!
They kept me up much later than I'd wanted to
Yeah.
be, but you know what? They got the win. They looked
Yeah, I was
great in
panicking a lot,
overtime.
yeah.
I was panicking too.
Yeah.
They looked great in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Penei Sewell, I do believe, is the best lineman in the league.
Yeah, he is. I want his jersey.
If I were to buy a Lions jersey, it would be Penei Sewell.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no doubt. He is the best singular player on the team.
definitely.
If anything else comes to me, I'll let you know. But
Alright.
man, I've just been.
When we brought up Christopher Cross, it reminds me of the, I think the best web series, one of the best web series of all time, Yacht Rock,
Yes.
where
Showed me that.
is this great. The introduction scene of Christopher Cross is where the Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins are facing Hall Notes in a sing-off.
Yes. This is a great YouTube.
Yeah, it's a
channel,
great
yeah.
YouTube. It's just a great YouTube series, and
Yeah.
like it's this guy named is Coco, and he brought Yacht Rock together, and Coco dies at the end. My favorite line of the whole thing is when Doug Benson plays Peter Cetera, and Peter Cetera is like, "Come on, guys, let's go get together." Like, shut the fuck up, Peter Cetera.
He's so aggressive.
Yeah.
Didn't Michael McDonald feel super betrayed by Christopher Cross moving away from the Yacht Rock?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He's like, you losing the groove. You're forgetting the groove. It's like,
Oh,
it's all about
man.
rock, Kenny.
Oh, that was a funny series.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, check that out.
Check that out,
That's good.
definitely. So, I haven't been watching a lot of movies. I watched some movies from the 1930s called Finishing School, directed by a woman named Wanda Hawk. Yes.
Is this a sequel to Rodney Dangerfield's Back to School?
No, it's not. No.
Oh, this is much older.
It's much older.
Oh,
it's from the 1930s.
I
Yes.
see.
I see.
And directed by a woman. That's
Directed by a woman, yes. It's really great. It starred Ginger Rogers. She was not the main character, but she was a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really good. It was about a girl who gets pregnant in school, and she's dealing with the pressures of school and trying to be perfect. This is finishing school. And her mother's trying to become this like socialite and everything, and putting the pressure on her. And the school had mistresses putting pressure on her to act away according to the school, to protect the school, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And they don't say pregnancy out loud, but you can tell it is about pregnancy. And like,
Interesting.
yeah, it deals with themes about depression, suicide, teenage pregnancy, love, stuff like that. So we can tell like it's definitely before Code, like definitely before the Code came in and everything, because this movie would have been made, or would have been made, but she would have been like, I don't know, like prom queen or some shit like that. I don't know what they did in the 1930s, but it was definitely a lot of themes, major themes that were definitely dealt with. You would not think would have been dealt with in the 1930s.
Yeah, this sounds really progressive. For
Yeah.
1930s
It
movie.
was. Yeah, definitely.
What film studio do you remember?
RKO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's big. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you definitely tell like after Code and before Code movies. You can definitely tell, but yeah, it's the same the Code. So for those who don't know, in the 1940s and 30s, I believe it's called the Hays Code. That's when the the government, in fact, the law rules that only certain things can be allowed in movies to clean them up because they thought movies were too violent and were going against the moral majority of America. So basically, you took a lot of the drama and realness out of movies and you made them just like puff pieces, a lot of them, you know. Yeah, so that's unfortunately. There was a lot of censorship and stuff like that, but we won't get into that right now. That's a way too long argument, and this is banter time, damn it.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about serious things.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about serious things. Only banter. That's it.
That's right.
That's it.
All banter all the time.
All banter all the time. That's
baby.
it. I watched Princess Mononoke with my father. He fell asleep, so I cannot give you his opinion on the film. He did say it was beautiful, though. That he could not believe in 1997 the film looked that great. So
nice.
That's good. Yeah.
All right.
And Princess Mononoke is an amazing movie.
We need to make that a subsection of these shows is your dad's reviews. Of
my dad reviews. I try to watch the movies with my dad because I want to broaden his mind a little bit. Because he literally said to me, "Watch whatever you want." So I always say, like, "What can I watch with my father?" So
I love his open-mindedness.
Yeah,
I think
it's not really open-mindedness. He just like whatever, just go. I mean,
that is open-minded. Did you realize how like my dad would never watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with my dad, he doesn't reveal his feelings, so you don't know if he hates something or not. Because I was watching like the original 310 to Yuma, and he seemed pissed off the whole time. And my mom was like, "He doesn't like this. He's pissed off." I'm just like,
did Christopher Cross show up?
No. So yeah. He was like, "He's pissed off. Like he doesn't like this. Like put on the news or something." I'm like, "He's fine." And he'll say like he can watch whatever he wants, so he doesn't reveal his true feelings. He'll just say just the same catchphrases over and over again.
Well, okay, maybe not open-minded, but super passive and just allowing. That's tolerant. It's very tolerant, and that's refreshing.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
Hear.
Speaking of Peter
Would
Falk...
he watch... Hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'll put a bookmark in Peter Falk. Would he watch Pink Flamingos?
I don't think so.
Good. I wouldn't want to ever watch that with my dad.
I don't want to watch Divine suck a cock in front of my father.
Eat dog shit,
yeah.
Sorry, go on, Peter Falk.
Okay, speaking of Peter Falk, I watched The In-Laws. Amazing movie. It's him and Alan Arkin. Peter Falk plays a secret agent, and Alan Arkin plays a dentist. Nice. And, of course, shenanigans ensue. Peter Falk gets Alan Arkin in various scenarios, and he tries to help overthrow government in Central America. It's great.
Wacky.
There's this amazing scene where they're in Central America. Alan Arkin's in a hotel, and he's telling Peter Falk, like, "I can't do this. I need to get out. I need to go home. I can't do this. You can do this, but I need to go home." And Peter Falk's like, "Okay, fine, I understand." But all of a sudden, like, Alan Arkin tries to run away, and Peter Falk just tackles him in the middle of the hotel room. And he's like,
nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really funny physical... I can't even like mentally picture those two actors.
Oh man, I can give it to you. It's
physically.
Great. Yeah,
I'd love to watch that.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Peter Falk was a national treasure.
He was. Yeah.
You know.
I did watch some Columbos. I watched the one about the magician who was a secret Nazi.
That one was just on Pluto TV yesterday.
Yes, that was good. I watched the one with the starlet who forgot that she murdered her husband because she has that disease.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Doesn't someone else takes the fall, like her?
Yeah, her Fred Astaire to her Ginger Rogers.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right. Okay.
The man she truly loved. But
that's a good one too.
Yeah,
those are both.
I watched the Johnny Cash one.
That's awesome. To this day, I watched that probably 2 years ago now. To this day, every now and then, in my head, I'll start singing "Praise the Lord, I saw the light." I've seen the episode one time.
Yeah.
2 years ago, and for some ungodly reason, I still get that stuck in my head. That's just how good Johnny Cash is in it.
True, yeah.
And, even though I'm glad, it's the right thing that Columbo caught him, man, his wife was very mean to him.
Yeah. Of course he did have sex with a teenager and then try to have sex with a teenager again.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
You're right, okay. Yeah, you're right.
I did not agree with, Columbo's like, "I knew you were a good enough person to admit you were wrong." I'm like, was he a good enough person, Columbo? Because it didn't seem like
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I wanted to think of Johnny Cash like that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
No, well, good.
I watched that with my family, and my sister kept complaining it was so slow. I'm like, "It's Columbo."
I love the slow burn of that show.
You just gotta wait.
Really?
That's the whole point of the show. You gotta show both sides. You gotta show the killer and why he or she did it. Mm-hmm. And then you gotta show how Columbo solves it all with his master skills as a detective.
It drives me nuts that so much of today's media doesn't have the same slow burn. I mean, maybe I'm being unfair there, but it just seems like it was a different era of television. Obviously,
Yeah, definitely.
There were different sensibilities.
Yeah, because each season was just like a mini TV movie.
Right. I mean, obviously there were different sensibilities in filmmaking practices, but and I guess there still is a pretty decent contingent of younger people discovering Columbo and enjoying it.
Actually, actually, thanks to streaming, a lot of people have discovered Columbo.
Yeah, I retract that. That was a dumb statement.
Because that's like the only show people can get for free, like streaming wise or like rights wise, I guess. Because every streaming service has Columbo.
And it's aged incredibly well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some episodes of Murder, She Wrote, and that's a good show from what I've seen. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the idea of the reverse mystery has aged, especially in that show, so well. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's probably a number of factors, including they put, because they were less TV episodes and more movies made for television, they obviously put a lot more effort into their contemporary compared to contemporary TV shows of the time anyway.
Definitely, yeah.
And it holds up. Most of them hold up very well.
Yeah, I mean on YouTube there's like clips of Columbo has millions of views and like thousands of views.
Yeah.
So there's essays about Columbo and how great he is and stuff like that.
And Peter Falk again, just so goddamn likable.
Yeah, he's so great. I love him when he's with a dog. I love him when he's with a dog.
He's great with dog, and like he's even fair because there are like the one with the magician. There is. It's just on a human level the way he does have some minor sympathies to this character who's obviously got a past as a Nazi,
which I don't think he discovers, correct? Or does he discover he's a Nazi?
He discovers it, but he I think there was like a bit of an understanding that the guy was like a young teenager when he was drafted into that army, and the possibility that had he been older and the circumstances were different, maybe he would have made a different choice.
Yeah.
And that's what's so interesting about the show is that the villains are not usually painted as a 100.
Yeah, but that's the genius of the show. Because it shows like why they murdered. Could be because they're in love this marriage, or it could be because of greed and stuff like that, but also because of like different circumstances and stuff like that. But doesn't excuse their murdering of people, but it gives them a reason, so at least you can connect with that. So yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. TV shows. I'm still trying to watch Twin Peaks. I'm still at the end of season 1. I have not gotten to season 2 yet, so I gotta continue that because I need to find out who is Miss Twin Peaks. It's very important.
That is the main crux of the show.
And I'm still waiting for the James scene when he sings. So
just you.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like, I only remember 2 things from season 2 of Twin Peaks: the Miss Twin Peaks pageant and James singing. That's it.
Those are really the only things you have to remember.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. When I'm bored, I watch Happy Days. Through the TV. Hey.
Very good.
Yes, and sometimes I watch MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's a classic.
I think that's like the one show I put on in the background. It's like I have nothing to do, or like I was like MST3K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I haven't sat through a lot of them. We did watch it on Christmas. We watched Santa Claus versus the Martians. Me and my father.
I have that on DVD.
That's a great one.
That is
great
movie.
That's the Roadhouse one. That's the Roadhouse show when they made Roadhouse the musical.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sure. Man, that's a good one. Patrick Swayze.
Outstanding stuff.
Outstanding. And for wrestling, AEW is amazing. Is doing great. They just had the latest pay-per-view, All In, so that's dates us. Oh, sorry, All Out. All Out. And All In, actually.
True.
Because they're very close together.
That's true.
But the most recent one was All Out. Mm-hmm. It was very violent, very bloody, especially the main event. Caused a lot of problems. If you haven't known, TJ, the main event was Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland in a lights-out steel cage match, which means it was unsanctioned, which means AEW wipes the hands of it. The ending has a lot of controversy. Because Hangman Page stuck a needle in Swerve's in his cheek, like a shot in his cheek.
Oh God!
And then whacked him over the head with a steel chair and knocked him out.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and also there was a real cinder block used in the match.
Oh my!
And both men took slams on them on their backs.
Those two are gonna kill each other.
Yeah, Swerve Strickland took a power bomb onto the cinder block, and Hangman Page took like a. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's kind of like a back driver where they hook the guy up in the back and hang him up and down.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It wasn't as violent as the second match they had, but it was definitely brutal, and they wanted to kill each other. And a lot of people had problems with that because it was too real. And I say that's wrestling, folks. So you deal with it. But I thought it was great. But although the show was great too, There was another match, but that was great. It was between Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. It was a Chicago street fight. There was one move where Chris Statlander put what are they called? Pins or thumbtacks? Put thumbtacks in the ground. She was going for a bicycle kick. You know, the Booker T finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she missed, and she did the splits into the thumbtacks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was painful.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable visual.
Yeah, that match was also
Ouch.
good. Yeah. So if you guys haven't watched All Out yet, go watch All Out. It's amazing. Really tells you the story of these two men who just want to murder each other and who do not care what they would do to hurt one another.
Is it just kayfabe or
It's just
is there
kayfabe.
something personal?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but it's so real.
Yeah.
If you don't know, TJ, Hangman Adam Page burned down Swerve Strickland's childhood home.
Oh fuck.
That he just bought.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That sounds criminal.
it was criminal. Yeah,
How come more wrestlers aren't in prison?
that is true.
I once saw Triple H attack Shawn Michaels from behind in a parking garage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And bust his face through a car's window.
Yeah, I saw the Big Boss Man drag Big Show's father's coffin out of the grave.
How was it allowed to stand? Stone Cold Steve Austin routinely beat up his boss.
Yeah, true. Stone Cold Steve Austin got run over by a car.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody found out who did that. Maybe Rikishi. We don't know.
Like, I know that they're not traditional employees. They're independent contractors.
Independent contractors, yes.
But that doesn't hold them liable from the law of
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
get it.
Yeah. Also, another great moment in the match. Hangman Page took a piece of the burned house
Yeah.
and tried to stab Swerve Strickland with it. But then Swerve Strickland took it and then started jabbing him in the head with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, that takes some of the bite away from the CM Punk being force-fed his own bracelet
Yeah.
with his wife and dog's name on it. I
Yeah,
thought
definitely
that was
does.
mean. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I guess I could touch on Bash at Berlin, which was a fine show, but more or less just a house show.
Yeah, it was just right
It was a good program. There were, I think, like 4 or 5 matches. No titles changed. Oh, no, that's wrong. The Women's Tag Team Championship changed hands from the team of Alba Fire and, oh my God, what's her name? That's going to bother me. But Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair won those titles back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the Randy Orton-Gunther match, very good.
That's good.
Very good match.
So what's the next one? It's...
Bad Blood is back, baby.
Ooh.
Featuring the rubber match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Some say Hell in a Cell.
I believe that is the case.
Yeah.
That was just made official on Raw, I believe.
Yeah. They had a strap match, I know. Was that at Bash at Berlin?
Yes, that was a match.
I am fine with strap matches, but they can't have that stipulation where they have to touch the corners. I don't like that.
That was the version they did this time.
Yeah.
Punk won.
If you have a strap match, then it has to be a regular match, but there's a strap between the two.
Yeah.
So I feel
they
like...
can't have
'cause
separation.
I think it's stupid. I don't know. There's no good ways to finish that. And the
Yeah.
only way to really do it is like the way they always do it, where the guy carries the other guy and he hits the side, but then the other guy hits it again. So now it seems like, oh, he's hitting it all.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they fight, like to see the last one who does it.
I liked it when they had the JBL Eddie Guerrero match
That
back
was
in
a
the
good
day
one.
when JBL wins the belt.
Yeah.
The way they pulled off the ending with the replay showing JBL's back touching just before Eddie's hand, it was pretty well executed.
That's
I
true.
have to admit. But other than that, yeah, I mean, strap matches, I like more for the actual fact they can't get separation and then
Yeah.
how they find clever ways to use the strap.
Yeah,
to
because I've seen like
attack
Texas
people.
Ballroom matches; those
Yeah.
are great. The dog collar match with FTR and the Briscoe brothers, OIPJ, is amazing. It's brutal, and there's not many weapons used. It's just like just 4 guys that are just strapped to each other, just beating the crap out of each other. So that's really good. But yeah, but I think that's it. TJ, is that all the banter we have for today?
It's all the banter I got, truthfully.
True.
I'm
Yeah.
ready to talk Children of a Lesser God.
Yes, let's talk. We are now exiting the banter zone. Highway to the banter zone. Bum, bum, bum. Highway to the banter zone.
Gonna take an off ramp off the banter zone.
Yeah. Yes. Alright, TJ. Today's movie we watched is Children of a Lesser God, released in 1986, directed by Rhonda Haynes, I believe that's how you pronounce it, the Doctor, and Wrestling Ernest Hemingway, written by Hesper Anderson and Mark Madoff, I believe. When You Come In Back, Red Rider, and Call Us Hot, starring William Hurt, Kiss of the Spider-Woman, and Lost in Space, The 1998 movie.
I remember seeing that as a kid, and I had the action figure of the robot. I don't remember a fucking thing about that.
I know Matt LeBlanc's in it. LeBlanc's in it. That's all I know.
I didn't even know. I don't
Yes.
even remember that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Molly Matlin, Coda, and Walker, which is a very controversial movie, very polarizing movie, I heard. I haven't really watched it, but now I kind of want to do because Criterion released it, so I wonder if there's something awesome about it, or really, really gross.
She was in Seinfeld, too.
She was in Seinfeld. She was in a lot of TV shows. She was a great TV. She stuck to a lot of TV acting.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the movie. She was in a TV show called Picket Fences, which was. I didn't know Twin Peaks was on ABC. I thought it was on like NBC, but it was. Picket Fences, I think, was NBC's answer to Twin Peaks.
Yes.
So they tried to be
Absolutely,
weird and stuff
yeah.
like that, and they were a little bit, but then it just became just a soap opera where they had to deal with like serious issues or something like that. I'm like, no. They had an episode where a cow gave birth to a human or something
They David
like that.
Lynched themselves into a corner.
Yeah. It was just like I don't care about this like serious shit.
Yeah, somehow
I'm
he's
like,
the only
make
one
it about
that,
goofy shit. I don't care.
Somehow he's the only one that can pull this type of
Yeah.
stuff off. Nobody can recreate his style, and when they try, they do that.
Yeah, they just make it into like another soap opera or something like that. Another like just a regular TV drama. I was like, police procedural. I'm like, I don't care. Like, do more weird shit. Like,
Right.
come on. Piper Lloyd, another Twin Peaks alum.
I was gonna say I got 2 Twin Peak connections. That I
Yeah,
noticed in
The
this
Hustler and Dream a Little Dream, the Corey Feldman, Corey Haim
movie.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I've watched and it's okay. Not the worst movie ever made, but certainly not the best. And Philip Bosco, the Pope of Greenwich Village and Milk Money, which TJ, if you do not know, is about a group of young children who are probably 10 years old hire a prostitute to sleep with their father.
Wow.
Yes.
With their milk money.
With their milk money.
I don't know what kind of.
It starred Melanie
things
Griffith
they're-
and Etta Harris.
Oh my god.
Yes, it was terrible.
Add it to the next season's list. Oh, you've seen it?
No, I've seen the nostalgic critic review of it.
I'll have to take a look.
Yes,
I'll have to take a look.
definitely. Okay, so TJ, we found out what the movie is, but what is it about? Tell us what it's about.
James Leeds is a new speech teacher at a New England school for the deaf and hard of hearing. Shortly upon his arrival, he becomes intrigued by the school's enigmatic custodian, Sarah, and a highly intelligent former student of the school, and he grows obsessed with the notion of teaching her how to speak, a pursuit which she roundly and bluntly rejects on several occasions. Despite advice to the contrary from the school's speaking staff, however, James takes Sarah on a date during which he watches her dance to the feel of the music. However, James hits a nerve of Sarah's anytime he broaches the subject of teaching her how to use her words. One night, while he tries to get her to open up about her mysterious past and her persistent angry, isolationist behavior, Sarah reveals that when she was younger, she was the victim of repeated sexual abuse, which caused her to be reserved and distrustful of others. James continues his pursuit of Sarah, and he ultimately succeeds in winning her trust. Their relationship blossoms, but Sarah can't shake the feeling that James resents her for not speaking, an allegation he repeatedly denies. Eventually, he's able to convince Sarah to leave her job and move in with him. Afterward, the couple attend a pair of dinner parties, one a poker party hosted by the school's superintendent, and the other hosted by a highly successful and influential non-speaking deaf friend of Sarah's. Following the latter, Sarah begins to consider that James has been treating her as a reclamation project by stripping her of her autonomy. The two fight, culminating in Sarah angrily shouting at James and leaving him. She moves in with her estranged mother, to whom she hasn't spoken since her teen years. Her mother expresses sincere regret for their falling out, and she reveals that she's spent their time apart learning sign language. Upon their reconciliation, Sarah requests her mom not inform James of her presence at the home should he reach out. She takes a job as a manicurist, and James slowly tapers his efforts to find her. Sometime later, though, upon a visit to her mother's house, he discovers her workplace and watches her in action from afar, but decides not to make contact. Sarah's mother ultimately informs her of James's visit, which prompts Sarah to surprise him at the school's prom. The two hash out their feelings for one another and reach a compromise wherein they will coexist in both the worlds of the sound and the silence. In the end, little hilarity ensues. There was one character in this movie that made me laugh every time.
Was
Do you
it?
remember him?
Was it Will?
Was that his name?
Was it like Dick
The student? Yes.
Dick face guy?
The student. Yeah.
That guy was great.
We'll get to Will.
Yeah.
Will was great.
I believe his name was Will, yes.
If I had to choose a Red Buttons MVP, it would be Will.
Yes.
William,
yes.
Yes. Okay,
yes.
good. Excellent. So that is the synopsis. Anything I missed?
No, I think you got it all. But before we start, TJ, you chose this movie.
I did.
Because of the title of the Simpsons episode,
Yes.
Children of Lesser God.
Yes.
So what was your process of choosing the episode, the Simpsons episode, to the movie? Basically, you just went through a bunch of this and said like, hey, I kind of know this movie. Would you should do that, or was it like you actually researched each movie while you're looking through it?
So no, actually, I'd heard of this movie, and obviously I'd known of the Simpsons episode, and then years later, I realized, it's named after this movie, Children of a Lesser God. I had no idea what the movie was about, no interest in it, and then I think it was when I was doing research for our Altered States podcast.
Yeah.
And I was reading up about William Hurt a little bit, and I saw this movie in his credits, and I said, "What the hell? I'm putting, or I don't know. For some reason, the idea came to me when I was choosing my criteria for this season. The Simpsons episode spoofs. I said, well, I have Bob Roberts, and then I thought, what else? And for some reason, that episode just came to mind. So I said, fuck it, we're going to watch Children of a Lesser God. I had no idea what it was about, none whatsoever. And then when I read the brief IMDb synopsis, I said, you could have given me 1,000 guesses about what I thought this movie would be about, and I would never have guessed it would be what it was. And I still don't understand the title for it.
I think Children of the Lesser God means like when people, maybe that was an old term for people who were disabled with growing up. It's like, you were not born from God's fruit or God's love. You were born from a lesser God. So maybe that's why you have this disability.
Interesting.
That's what I believe. So I'm not sure exactly what that term means, but that could be what it means.
I think you're on the right track though, because the saying is, God created us in His image, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody was born with
death, blind, or some kind of disability,
yeah, I think you're probably on the right track.
And they were born of a lesser God.
I think you're probably on the right track.
That's what people thought, at least.
Okay, and it is worth noting, like this. I actually briefly pursued a career in special education and education in special education. In fact, did not finish that for various reasons I won't divulge here, but. It's something that we take for granted nowadays.
Yeah.
This was 1980s, based on a play from the 1970s.
Yeah.
We take for granted that, special education is funded publicly now, right?
Yeah.
I never even thought about how back in the day, if you had a child who was deaf or blind, you'd have to send them away to a boarding school, a specialty boarding school.
Yeah.
And it's touched on a little bit in this when when Sarah's mother references her father, that a lot of people, and I'm sure that this was a heavily held attitude at the time, people kind of just lumped a disability like deafness or blindness or unwillingness to speak just in with cognitive disabilities.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not true. There's so much nuance to cognitive
a lot of people back then, in 1980s, 60s, 70s, they didn't know what to do with their children, so they sent them away. You hear stories in the 1960s about kids who just smoked pot, and they were sent to a hospital or a special place for people who have mental problems.
Well, that's fair. I've seen Reefer Madness, and that shit will ruin your life.
Yes, of course.
But no, you're right.
I've also seen the musical version of Reefer Madness, and that is crazy.
I bet that's something.
Definitely, yeah. But yeah, you hear stories of kids who just smoked pot once, and they're they send the kids off to a mental hospital, and it's I just smoked pot. Why am I here? And it's just yeah. So they didn't know what really to do. Either whether they were children or grown adults, a lot of people just sent their problems away because they didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. Until luckily now, science and medical practices have grown tremendously to where it's now become more reliable and more. You can find ways to deal with the problems, such as being deaf or blind or any other cognitive abilities that you have lost. So yeah. So thankfully for that has happened, definitely.
Yeah, we've realized that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to education, right?
Definitely.
And what we kind of see in the very start of this movie, when James gets to the school, he sits down with the superintendent who tells him, listen, he basically knows that this guy's enthusiastic, he's well-educated, and he kind of sets his expectations. He said, listen, we're not miracle workers here. He's kind of...
Yeah, I think we give the impression that the guy, the principal, doesn't really care that much, but he does care a lot. He cares deeply.
He does care a lot, but I think he's he's beaten down by the reality that they haven't made perhaps the impact he's hoped, or a lot of I think a lot of educators go into the field with such
you get the Robin Williams effect, with what's that movie?
Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society. Like you can teach children with humor or something like that, or that Freedom Riders movie. Like if you just know hip hop, you can understand these kids.
Yeah.
Which has a little bit in this movie. We'll get to that later, but I'll let you finish your point before. Yeah.
Oh no, I just think that his lack of enthusiasm needs to be rekindled. It doesn't come from a place of disdain toward these students, but I think more so disdain toward the parents, perhaps.
Maybe the students. No, it's not students. I meant the parents. Maybe the town. Maybe society. Maybe the fact that people that he needs people to fund it, so that's why he's trying to.
I'll put this out there. A big factor for why I got out of education, aside from some snafus in the actual pursuit of the degree at the time. Teachers are not valued in society nearly the way they should be.
Yeah.
And it's not a simple fix. I'm not going to get into it, but it's I can easily understand a character that really desperately, deep down, intrinsically wants to be helpful and wants to change lives, but gets beaten down over the years.
Yeah.
And that's understandable. And so I think he was just genuinely trying to curb James's expectations accordingly. And, it turns out James might curb his in the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he gets there, he gets the rundown, and then he's assigned to, was it an 11th grade class?
Yeah, 11th grade class, speaking class.
Speaking class, yes. So it was six students maybe?
Yeah, 6 students, I believe. I love the one kid who was just shaving. I was like, what's that buzzing noise when I was watching the movie? Then you see that one kid that's electric shaving.
Yep, they're just staring at him awkwardly, and he does a little Willy Wonka tumble to the ground.
Yeah, he tries to be whimsical and stuff like that. That's the Robin Williams. It hasn't happened yet, but it's kind of like the Robin Williams effect. So there's this is a good example of one of these movies, but there's a lot of movies that people are just like teachers trying to reach students. There's a ton of them. Mr. Holland's Opus, Freedom Riders, Dead Poets Society.
Stand and Deliver,
or something like that. Or you get to know these students. There's good examples of that, and there's really bad examples of that. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say William Hurt's performance. I think his performance in the whole movie is he is trying to save these kids. He's trying to be a savior to these kids. I can show you a different way. You can speak. Don't let society define you, or something like that. Which is one of the main problems of the movie, actually, because he tries to save everybody or tries to fix everybody, but he can't do that. Yeah.
Well, he tries to fix them in the way that he sees. How do I put this? He tries to control them to a degree, not in an evil, manipulative way. No, but for some people, speaking is maybe not. Yeah, it's just not in their cards. For instance, it's not what they want.
Like Kid John, he didn't want to speak at all.
Right.
And we never really got an ending to that.
And I am glad that we didn't. I'm glad that at the end he didn't speak up, because sometimes you need to leave things stones left unturned. Mm-hmm. It's not.
Which I think he learns throughout the movie, but
yes, absolutely. Is that there's not a singular mold that people need to fit in for him. They're not, or for his self-worth, I guess, for his. You know what I mean? Just because someone doesn't want to speak does not mean that they're broken or that they need fixing.
True.
And you know what? I do think he does have a good attitude with his students about that. A lot of the conflict between him and Sarah, though, comes from, obviously, I think, an internal feeling that he really wants to just...
Yeah, because he wants her to, better herself, because when we first meet Sarah, she's fighting with the cook, my guess, an ex-boyfriend, who they broke off. I don't know exactly. But then he meets her, and she's a janitor at the school, which, she thinks, you can do much better than that. You're a smart girl. Because she hears from the math teacher, is just she was the smartest girl in our class, and stuff like that. So, she thinks, she's better than where she is, which is good to see in somebody, to see, you can do better, I believe in you. But you just can't force that on people. They themselves had to discover it, which Sarah did. Because Sarah went through a lot of things, and with the help of William Hurt's character, this was I could do better, but she had to discover that for herself, and that's when,
and it's worth noting too that she discovered it her ambition in life without the need to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She became a manicurist in the end without actually having to speak. And that kind of plays into the point where just because she doesn't want to speak, and she clearly has some past trauma that's holding her back. There's no doubt about that. But it's not a matter of teaching her to speak the English language audibly that is going to fix anything.
True, because this movie is not. It's not really about deaf people. It's not really like, oh, look at the deaf people. They're humans. Like, yay, woo, they did the thing. We can feel better now. Yeah. And then we forget about them, which did happen about this movie. But it's about about people dealing with who they think they are and saying they can't fix who they are and they can't change who they are to better themselves. But you can do that. For Sarah's problems, it was like she was, like you said, she's sexually abused in the past. She basically was used as a playthings for her sister's boyfriends or something like that.
It sounds like it was brokered by her sister.
Yeah,
too, and
or something like that.
Sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's just like she was just like, I'll just have sex with anybody. She's basically just used as a human being, not really shown loved or anything like that. And of course, probably with her father, where she was deaf and he couldn't accept a deaf child, I'm guessing. And so like she just put everything inside and was just like, I'm never going to speak again. I'm going to be like, I can't be anybody higher. Like I can't be like her friend who's like a lawyer or like a bureaucrat or something.
Right.
It's like I'm just going to be in my little shell and be that way forever.
Right.
Because of her past.
Well, and it's worth mentioning too. She justifies the custodial job in the beginning because it gives her a lot of time to be alone.
True.
And I think that her yelling at the cook, you posited that it might be an ex-boyfriend. It's possible. My read on that was a subordinate. So again, or someone that kind of works under her anyway.
Yeah.
And that
maybe she wanted her to do something, but she wouldn't do it. So.
Well, I think that she, being the intelligent person that she is, probably holds everybody to such a high standard. And when he makes a mistake, she goes off the rails there and fires him or whatever she did. But that's just a little side tangent there. I think she took the job, she said, because she likes it anyway because it allows her to be alone.
Yeah.
And this is somebody who, again, like you mentioned, had been put through some awful stuff in her youth, who had split from her family, and all she knew was this life at the school. And yeah, she just was not trusting of anybody else, and speaking alone wouldn't necessarily bring that. Her friend, the successful lawyer, Oren, I believe was her name.
Yeah.
Wasn't speaking, right? At the party.
She said like, she can do that. How come I can't do that, huh? How come I have to speak? Huh?
Exactly. But sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to see what we're capable of in somebody else to motivate ourselves.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a powerful scene. And I hated... Oh, we'll get to James and my issues with that character as a person himself. Not with how he's written, but just the character himself. I hate in that scene how he is so antsy to leave. He is so unsupportive. Just read her body language,
exactly.
Man. She is hanging on Oren's every word, right?
Yeah.
Every sign, I suppose. But she's hanging on it. She is clearly just so inspired by her friend. And James is sitting there going, "Oh, I'm so bored."
Yeah, because he's like, oh, she's just giving her ammunition to never speak again or never want to speak. She's like,
yes,
yeah,
he is exactly.
He's pissed off because he's just like, I can't, like, no, like she needs to speak because
he is threatened by this.
I need to fix her and stuff like that. I need to change her.
Yes. Have you ever heard that story about a man being threatened by a successful woman?
Yes.
He was absolutely that man threatened by a successful woman. In this case, a successful non-speaking woman.
Yeah.
Someone that kind of shatters his belief that speaking is the bridge between Sarah and success, between his students and success.
Yeah.
And he does learn from that, luckily.
Definitely.
But that drove me nuts. A lot of things with his character drove me nuts.
Yeah. So that points out one of the, not really flaws in the movie. I was reading the Roger Ebert review. We'll get into it a little bit right now. He's saying Roger Ebert's main complaint about the movie is we don't really see Sarah's side of everything. We just see his name is, what was his name? John? James. So William Hurt's character, James. We see his side because he's the only one that can communicate with her. So we always hear what she says out of his mouth. Where we don't see her side of it. Like, we don't see subtitles or when they sign or anything like that. So we don't get their side. We only get the side that's spoken by James.
And if this movie was made nowadays, I guarantee they'd have subtitles for that.
Yeah, which probably do in Coda. I have not seen Coda, so I can't say.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
But that definitely struck me as an old contrivance. I don't know if subtitles were more stigma or like, movie execs thought that nobody wanted to read subtitles.
Probably.
But it is bizarre when you have a conversation when she's signing and he repeats everything that she's signing. I would rather.
Now, luckily, the acting works so well that it doesn't make it boring or like repetitive.
It does. So it's just goofy because he does it, her mom does it.
Yeah.
People just have to do it. I do think it works not having the subtitles when Oren is speaking at the party because we are kind of, she's really fast, and as the movie establishes earlier, he might not be able to keep up with how fast she's moving.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of works because it alienates us a little bit as well. And the fact of the matter is that it's not really important to know exactly what she's saying.
Yeah.
Right? You can just
we just need to know that James is pissed off that he's there. And he's just like...
And he's threatened by this.
He's threatened by this one, yeah. We do see some scenes where we do relate to... Molly Madden's character and her being deaf, especially when she's in the pool, because in the water you hear nothing. So that's probably what she feels, because we do see a little bit. That's only one scene though. So if they would have expanded that a little bit more, because the one scene where James is talking to Molly Madden's character is what do you she's like, what do you hear? Do you hear anything? And it's I'm not gonna let you I'm not gonna tell you until I let you in, or something like that. So, once again, we don't really know her side of what being deaf is, or anything like that. We get glimpses of her past and stuff like that. We don't really see her side of the story.
Yeah, and we never really definitively find out why she doesn't want to speak, do we?
No, we know that she had a troubled past. She was definitely sexually abused by multiple teenagers. She was just used as a tool, mostly for sex. Yeah, which is understandable why you don't really want to trust people anymore.
100%.
Yeah.
I just don't remember if there was... I don't remember there being any explicit or implicit explanation for why she didn't want to speak. And I don't necessarily need everything complained, but I do agree with, if that's what Ebert said.
Yeah.
You don't really get her side much. And I'll just go ahead and spoil this. I didn't really buy this romance. And I hate to say that just because... Here's why.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think he was a creep.
No.
But I did, from the beginning, get the sense that she was some kind of project to him.
Definitely.
And that he was trying to score some lovin' under the guise of helping her learn to speak.
Yeah.
I thought that the two leads had very good chemistry. Mm-hmm. They were both fine in the movie. They were both great in the movie, I thought, actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily buy the start of the romance, I should say.
Okay.
He clearly invites her to his office and tries to teach her how to speak. He's the one that kind of reaches out and makes contact with her when she's mopping.
Yeah.
She very, very visibly shows that she's not interested, which again doesn't, necessarily mean that you can't shoot your shot.
Yeah.
You have to do so tactfully. And when he asked her out to dinner, I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been turned down before. Maybe
I feel like there was a connection. The character could definitely tell she's interested, at least for that.
I think the sexual or the physical attraction is there,
definitely.
for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the pool scene when he's about to say I'm falling in love with you, and she recoils from that, and
it's I'm falling in the pool.
Yeah, that's a recurring theme too, that he constantly reverts to humor, both in the classroom and in his romance, or in the romance. And I think they do a good job of showing how it is appropriate in that classroom setting when he's trying to reach these kids, which he does successfully, right?
Yeah.
But it's not always appropriate when you should be serious and earnest and talking openly with somebody else, your partner, right? I do think they do a great job of highlighting how he fails in that regard when he's trying to make light of everything.
Yeah.
This is a character that doesn't, he doesn't know when to button it up, and he doesn't know when to,
let it go.
Let it go. Dude, she went with you to your poker party.
Yeah.
She just quit her job to live with you. Let her enjoy the party, man.
There was just something about that scene I didn't like. Because it was just the whole party was just oh, look how well you did with her and stuff like that.
Yes, look how well you trained her. And
I'm like, what the fuck?
And that was absolutely intentional.
Yeah.
It was absolutely intentional. It has to be. Yeah. They go to a party hosted by the superintendent.
Yeah.
Sarah has long since left her job at this point because the superintendent.
But she's still friendly. Cause,
And he's pleasantly surprised to see her. He's very happy. He and his wife are very happy to see her. She's been reading about poker, how to play poker.
Yeah.
And she cleans up.
Yeah.
She cleans up at the table, and everybody's congratulating James. Oh wow, I can't believe how well she did. You've done a great job with her. And and James doesn't even acknowledge that.
Yeah,
no, I didn't do shit.
I didn't do anything. That was all her. She did it.
She read the books.
Give her credit.
Yeah.
Make her a person. She's a person.
And and I do think that that's supposed to elicit such a response.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to be clear.
Definitely.
But the fact that he's such a bird brain that he more or less takes credit by proxy by not denying.
Yeah, he feels good
by
inside.
not
Like
passing the credit.
I did my good thing. I'm good.
Yeah. Let's go home and have sex.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another thing too. It seemed like they kind of. And they both kind of do it because after Oren's party she does it, but
it's just like let's just have sex, and it's like fine, you want to have sex, and they just have sex, and they don't really deal with the problem until.
And by the end of the movie, it's become joyless.
Yeah.
So that's. I do like that those two parties were included in that way. One of them highlights how he has this loaded sense of self-worth, accomplishment.
Like look what I did to the deaf girl, like I fixed her.
And here she is training herself not training, but learning how to play poker so she can relate with his friends, quote unquote. And he's doing the bare minimum to just get through this party.
Yeah, he doesn't try to interact with anybody. He just sits in the corner.
His body language is like, dude, just have a beer and chill.
Talk to people. You know. Yes. You know sign language. It's not like you don't know sign language. Maybe they don't know sign language as well as the other people at the party, but you can still communicate with them.
We've all been in a situation, I'm sure, that at some point where it's like, I don't really want to be here, but you do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah. All right, so the relationship, like, once again, both actors did well, but I have a problem with William Hurt, the actor, him acting. I can only see William Hurt in, like, 3 roles. One's lawyer.
Yeah.
One stern Republican who's trying to pass a bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no, probably there's 2 roles. Lawyer and stern Republican trying to pass a bill. Maybe doctor. That's the only 3 roles I see William Hurt as.
That's
I
fair.
can't see him as goofy, as, like, charming, or, like, lovable anyway. I only see him as, like, a stern father figure all the time. And that's my problem with William Hurt, the actor. Because, like, when he can pull it off when he's, like, charming and, like, he's talking to the students and he does, like, all these little jokes and stuff like that. It works, but, like, I see that and I'm like, I think Jeff Daniels can do this better than you can.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'll actually say, too, I think I almost would have rather seen a movie about him with his class than the romance part. I mean, I thought that those were some of my favorite scenes, probably.
Really good, yeah.
And I think that's because that's him in his professional realm. That's what he's trained to do. That's what he's comfortable doing. I don't necessarily disagree with you because I think Jeff Daniels, for instance, that's a great pull.
Because he can pull off the goofiness and the seriousness at the same time. Jeff Daniels can. Where I think William Hurt, the actor, I just see him as a very serious man. Like,
I agree,
every time. Yeah.
And I do think that he's best as the straight man role, like with William calling him shit dick or whatever,
Yeah.
And he's saying, "Oh, that's great work," and he genuinely, earnestly means it because this gentleman is enunciating very well, and he's genuinely proud of it. You're right. I think that the straight man part of it I was fine with, but the goofy part, he doesn't play that.
Because I haven't seen the movie, but there's a movie called A History of Violence. Steven Soderbergh, I believe, directed it. It's a great movie from the clips I've seen. He plays like a mob boss or somebody at the end of the movie, and he seems perfect for it because he's very serious, very menacing. Which I always picture William Hurt, very serious, very menacing.
Yeah.
So like, I was watching the whole movie. It's like, this guy, like, the acting great and stuff like that. I understand the connection, but I just keep on seeing William Hurt as not like a charming man. I see him as a serious man. So that was my whole problem with the whole thing, with William Hurt's character.
Sure.
Now Molly Madeline, though, she killed it.
She is the best part
of
the movie.
During this whole movie, I was looking up Letterboxd scores and everything, and everybody gave it like a 3.5. That's the average. But everybody, like, the whole reviews were just like, Molly Madeline was amazing. Like, I can't believe Molly Madeline was just dropped off by Hollywood after this movie and stuff like that. And she had her own problems, but she had a very successful TV career, but she should have been, like, the next best thing, because she won an Oscar for this film. She was the best, I believe, the best supporting actress, or best leading actress. Let me see if I get it. Yes, best.
I'd imagine leading, yeah.
Best leading actress. She won. And, we'll get into it later when we do the Oscars and stuff like that. But everybody was saying, like, how come, like, Hollywood didn't pick her up? And that's kind of the story of this movie, like, any type of these movies where, like, a teacher teaches a young class of deaf children or blind children, or teaches people how to love themselves, or like something like that. like, you know, with any disability. It's just like we applaud them, then we forget them, and then we just move on to the next thing. So yeah, so nothing really changed it, and that's why it took so long. I don't know, for Molly Madsen to get back in the star game. I mean, she was just in Coda, which won Best Picture back in the COVID year, I think 2001, or 2021. But you know, because we're wondering like, how come Molly Madsen's not a huge star right now? She should be like legendary, which she still is, but you know, she should be bigger. But people complain about that because the way she like, I think it would have improved if she did like subtitles and anything like that. But her just a body language and the way she moves her body, you can definitely tell like just her emotions purely on that.
Oh, her face tells everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that her character does not need to speak.
No.
Because she's so good at emoting with her face and her body language and like the aggressiveness with which she signs.
Yeah.
You can tell just by her demeanor in her hands. You know, you could take her face out of the equation.
Yeah.
If you just look at her hands when she is signing, you can tell what she's trying to communicate. We don't speak sign language.
Yeah.
I don't anyway. I was so impressed though again, you almost in many instances didn't need him repeating every line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And I still believe you would have gotten the message. You wouldn't have understood the exact words, but you would have gotten the message. Oh no, she's absolutely the standout. She is absolutely the best individual part of this.
The best scene in the movie is the fight scene, and then when she just screams and she's like, I got a little bit fearful for a second. I was like, whoa, what's that? And I was just like, and you hear the emotion behind it. She was just like, fine. Like, you couldn't understand what she was saying.
I didn't know what she was saying.
But you're just like, you just understand the pain of everything just going through that thing, of the frustration of being seen as not like a girlfriend or a human being, as more of a project to fix.
Right.
And she lets it all out in one giant grasp. No, she's saying she's giving a good acting without speaking, but in this moment, the speaking was needed because it showed her the pent-up rage she was feeling. She had need to let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And while you make a good point that the Academy loves to do stuff like, you know, rise people on a pedestal.
Yeah. Academies love like a lot of things. They love old-ass movies, like really period pieces.
Hollywood movies.
Movies
about Hollywood.
Movies about people with disabilities overcoming adversity and stuff like that.
And then once they've patted themselves on the back, they move on. I will say though, I love that Marlee Matlin has been able to work consistently ever.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, she might have dropped off for a minute.
She's just so charming. You can tell just the way you look at her. She's like, wow, this woman has like so much personality and liveliness.
The lip reader episode of Seinfeld is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Easily, and it's. I'll be honest, it's mainly because of George getting made fun of at the tennis match because he's eating a sundae.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all over his face. Mm-hmm. But she's great in it too when she's misconstruing the signs and everything, and Kramer's, doing sign language with her, and I don't know. She's just a delight in that.
Yeah.
No, she's the best part of this movie. She deserved the Academy Award. I don't even know what she went up against, but I'll just say
we'll go into that later.
Her performance is absolutely Oscar worthy. I'll put it that way.
The scene with her mother is just heartbreaking because
yes.
I've delivered greatly also.
Yes, I was so thrilled to see her.
Like you can see the pain in her face. It's like there's a lot of problems they have.
Yes.
And it took a lot of courage for her to just go to her mother, and she can tell she's not happy about it. Even though it took a lot of courage for her to come here, I didn't want to come, but I had to. And then obviously the mother missed her after so many years.
She taught herself a whole new language.
Yeah, she taught herself to sign language
in anticipation of that return.
Yeah.
And no, that. Piper Laurie is also great in this. The character is very easy to like and easy to empathize with once you kind of put yourself in the position of, what would a mother who has a child with a disability that you don't understand how to accommodate, and your partner in life, your husband, is not willing or able or tolerant of the idea of even helping. How would you deal with that?
Yeah.
And then to have to spend all those years apart from your daughter, wondering what you could have done differently, how much of this was your fault, knowing the trauma she endured. It's actually a very nuanced role despite having very little screen time.
Sure.
And Piper Laurie
equally. Yes, I believe also she was nominated for supporting
I'm not surprised. She was only in it for 10 screen minutes.
But she killed it.
She did. She says a lot in her performance, and I thought the casting. I'm glad she was casted.
Yeah.
She was perfect in this, I thought. And her scenes with Marlee Matlin, they've got great chemistry.
Definitely.
What did you think you're fresh off the heels of season 1 of Twin Peaks. Catherine Martell versus this character. What's
I think this character beats Catherine Martell because I have not seen season 2 Catherine Martell yet. Because I know she just at the very end of Twin Peaks she gets back together with her husband, with Jack Nance, but we don't really know yet because maybe she's just using him because she's like she doesn't really care. I do love how she didn't even save what's her name?
Shelley.
Shelley. She didn't say like, who are you?
Yeah, I know.
Just like she's like whatever. And
buildings catching fire.
Buildings catching fire behind her. And I was like, are you part of this? She's like, no. And she's like, fine, and just chops her down like nothing. And it's like, fine, we'll go.
Complete 180-degree characters.
Yeah.
And she's great in both of them.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know if she survives the fire because the season ended. So I gotta wait till season 2 to see if she survives the fire. Yeah, right. It's true.
Can I share really quickly then, just because I don't want to derail us later? But the other Twin Peak connection. Did you catch anything?
No.
It's not an actor. It's not even a theme or anything. It's literally just a couple of words. Then when they're playing poker, she mentions the One-Eyed Jack being wild. Yes, another Twin Peaks connection.
One-Eyed Jacks.
That's right. Great name for a sleazy brothel, strip club, casino, whatever.
Yeah.
Great name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but anyway, let's take a look at some of the notes I jotted down here. First and foremost, the thing that caught me off guard first, that made me say, I need my laptop right now, an Italian restaurant with dancing and soul music?
It's the worst dancing I've ever seen. I had that in my notes. It was just like, everybody was just like, if I was dancing, that would be it. It was...
Well, Mo, you're Italian.
Yeah.
You've been to the Olive Garden. Do they play music?
I've never been to Olive Garden.
You and your family go to the Olive Garden every Sunday?
Don't you say that. I'm deleting this from the podcast.
I'm sorry.
I'm deleting this from the podcast.
Okay, he does not go.
Do not go to the Olive Garden.
I'm sorry to your family for that. That actually was uncalled for. But have you ever known of a fine Italian dining establishment that had a dance floor?
No, but I do know one where they have like an opera singer and like a string quartet that follows you around. Yeah,
that I can see.
Yeah,
I just the soul music got me. I said, wait, really?
Yeah.
She just ordered the veal piccata.
Yeah.
And then went to go dance to some R&B.
I did like that scene. I find it kind of funny humorous. It was like, what is veal? Like, what is veal?
I know, and I was wondering, is he gonna go there? Is he gonna explain to her what veal is? But I don't think he even really.
Yeah, he didn't know. Yeah.
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 Oh, veal. But yeah, I had that as my note. I had, wow, this guy is white knighting very hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
the tell the whole story. You know, this white knighting trying to save this person that doesn't need saving. This, you know.
Yeah, and I really didn't. Because of that, I didn't really see him. I don't know. I didn't see him do enough to restore her faith in others. But again, we don't know. We don't really know her side of things.
Yeah,
so
but I don't think that's like not the point of the story. The point of the story is just like people changing. Like she probably will restore her faith in others. Maybe she'll even speak. We don't know.
Yeah.
But like that's the whole point of the story is like you're a broken person inside and you think you can't change, but you can change. And she did that. She got a job. And she's able to communicate with people even without speaking, you know. Yeah. He also changed. Like his brokenness is that he thinks he needs to fix people or better people in some way.
Yeah.
But he realizes that he doesn't need to fix people. That people can be who they are, and if they want to change, they themselves have to believe in self. Mm-hmm. Maybe like he brought on the change in her. Maybe he helped a little bit because he believed in her when nobody else really did. So he helped a lot, but it will take time for her to accept that, and take time for her to realize that she can be better than what she is, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think he came off as cringe.
Some moments,
I gotta say, he came off as cringe quite a bit. His white knighting was very, very
I also think that's
goofy.
That was one of the other problems. Like, you can definitely tell this was a play. So some of the lines, you get the punchline, you wait for the laugh.
Yeah.
Definitely tell. Like, it wasn't really like a main issue in the movie, but you could definitely tell sometimes like this was based on a play, and basically because of the long monologues, the screaming matches and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah,
and 100%. And I do think that some of the sensibilities stem not just from it being a play, but also from this was I think a time, like we said, when deafness and disabilities such as that were not as nearly understood. We didn't have things like the Americans with Disability Act until the 90s, believe it or not. Mm. So I think that this kind of characterization of a non-deaf man trying to save a deaf woman, or quote unquote save, getting her to speak.
Yeah.
While it does come off as cringe, I do think it worked because this was a very critically acclaimed movie. I know that.
Yeah.
I think it was so critically acclaimed in the time and has not aged quite as well because we have a completely different contextualization, or we completely contextualize deafness and disabilities differently now.
Yeah,
right?
It could be also because like the story, like Bobby says, the story's not that strong. But the acting is so strong. That's what makes this movie so good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why most likely, I don't know if this was nominated for Best Picture or not, but most likely it was just nominated for the Best Acting Awards instead of screenplay. No, it was nominated for screenplay, but
my last note, I wrote, calling it now. He promised he wouldn't ask her to speak again, and I think he's going to renege on that promise. And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
It's just a little predictable in the writing, I thought. But again, that could also be that maybe this movie and its writing style influenced a lot.
Yeah.
It just became a cliche, I think.
Yeah.
That, you set up in the first act that, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But no. Of course, it's going to boil over later.
Definitely.
Yeah. Those are my various notes.
All right. I got some notes, too. I have Love the Electric Razor Kid. Love him. Wish we had more of him in the movie. He was the DJ.
I wish we had more of the kids in
general.
Yeah,
I think they were great. I love them. And then the apartment, they were always eating food. Love the punk rock kid.
I know. They're watching TV at an ungodly decibel and eating his food. And it was like a Welcome Back Kotter thing. Almost.
Yeah, I must admit the song was stupid. I did not like the song.
The boomerang.
I did not like that one. I agree with the father when he said the song's stupid, but I'm glad he's having fun.
I loved his reaction though.
Yeah.
I liked that he was accepting to it.
Yeah.
And of course, the only person in the crowd that didn't like what she saw was, of course, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it was? Sorry to derail you, but actually we should touch on that scene during like a parents' night. They have James's class does a singing number.
Yeah.
Where they actually not just lip sync, but they actually sing the lyrics to that Boomerang song. And everybody in the crowd loves it. The crowd goes bananas. Sarah is mortified and she runs away from it. Is it almost like akin, do you think, in her mind, like it's almost like, I don't want to say like a minstrel show exactly?
No, I don't think that's...
So
I think
how did you read that?
I think it's just like she's pissed off that these kids can do it. Like they can do it, but she won't do it. I think she's pissed off in that way, maybe.
So you don't think it's like a dehumanizing thing?
No.
That's how I read it.
She was not pissed off about like dehumanizing nature or anything like that. She was just pissed off because these kids are singing and he taught them to sing and to speak, and that's what she's seeing in him. That's what he wants her to do and stuff like that. So maybe she's realizing like, hey, you're kind of making me becoming your students, making me your pet project. Like she's trying to teach me.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
I don't think it was that. No,
and I'm glad because that's kind of how I read it. Was like she thought like oh, you're making a mockery of these kids type of thing. Okay, I'm glad it's not it. And last thing,
that's why she threw the thing because of like the frustration.
Yeah,
it could be because maybe these kids were singing and maybe she just doesn't have the courage inside her to do it either, or maybe it could have been like, hey, like this guy's trying to change me again, even though he said he wouldn't, but really deep down he is. Maybe that's why she threw it out of frustration.
Okay, so it was it was a revelation.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay,
yeah, that's what I think.
Last thing, and I swear I'll give you the floor. I'm so glad. I was worried that they would go the route of Lydia, kind of his like. Not teacher's pet, but kind of the student that gets the most spotlight.
Oh,
I thought they were going to go
too close to me.
Not with him being a creep, but with her.
Like
falling
a teacher's
for him,
bus.
and then there would be a conflict between Lydia and Sarah. I am so happy that was not a factor.
Yeah. If like hand in the hands, it would have been like townies who were against the deaf people or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been in that movie and like a teenage bus. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
He can teach the kids with the power of music.
Is there anything the power of music can't teach?
He can't. According to Mr. Hans Opus, nothing can be taught without music.
I love it.
Yeah. You know that I never seen that movie, but I heard Mr. Hans Opus sucks. It's not
never seen
not the movie, like his actual
song.
The actual song. It sucks. It sucks. It's like you ruined your his deaf son also. He ruins the relationship because he can't hear music because you suck.
Was his song was his opus the Boomerang? Rang? Jesus.
Yeah. I have the silence when swimming. Can't tell it's a play. The bad dancing in the Italian restaurant, which It's understandable because all Italians. From speaking from experience, cannot dance. Al Pacino.
Oh God.
Every time I see someone's ass in a movie, I always think the Al Pacino line, "Great ass," is like.
Yeah.
You see my man, it's like great ass. That's my one immature thought during this whole very serious,
That's
serious
fantastic.
movie. I can never see William Hurt as fun. When William Hurt was shirtless, I was like, I want his figure. Like, I want his body because it's like he's not muscular, but he's thin.
He's lean.
He's very lean. I just want to be lean.
Yeah, I got
That's
you.
a dream of mine. And our favorite character, I'm bringing this back, the Red Button's MVP of this movie.
Yes.
William.
The
The kid who calls everybody a dick face.
while playing basketball.
Playing basketball.
It's great.
He is great.
So good.
I love him. That's a
And
great.
his ability to enunciate those curse words genuinely gets better throughout his
Yeah.
scenes, and it's great to see.
Yeah, I love the very end. It's like you got to remember to say them in good times.
Yeah.
It's like I think he calls him something else.
Fuckface
Fuckface,
or something.
something
Yeah,
like
oh,
that.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, it's great. He's great. Yeah, and that's mostly all my notes. Yeah, but
Cool.
yeah. Yeah, so I think we talked a lot about this movie. We don't have to go beat by it because
Yeah. I think we covered pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
I think the ending. We didn't really talk about the ending that much. We reconciled again. I think it was kind of sweet how they got back together. 'Cause
Yeah.
An ending. It wasn't them speaking. It was just them communicating. When she says "I love you," and then she puts the two fingers together, and it's like
Yeah.
together or like
Yeah.
joined.
And I like that scene was done without the sound. You didn't need the sound.
Yeah.
You didn't need, without the words.
Yeah.
Translation. You didn't need translation for that.
Yeah.
It's clear by this point what "I love you" looks like in sign language, based on their body language. Yeah, I actually, despite me not liking much of the James character, I'm glad I liked that they ended up together because I actually did see a change in him.
Yeah.
When he could have made contact with her at her job, but instead he realizes, okay, this is what she wants.
Yeah.
She wants to be independent from me. He did actively search for her for weeks or however long they were split, and once he finally found her, it was almost like, okay, at least I know she's okay,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna leave her to be happy.
Definitely.
And so, no, he showed personal growth. My issues with that character were resolved. Their
Mhm.
relationship is seemingly resolved. I was fine with the ending.
So we should get into our final thoughts about this film. So Children of the Lesser God, I didn't know about this film. I thought it was The Unbearable Lightness of Being, mostly because they all have long titles. So I thought those were the same thing. So I thought I owned it, but no, it turns out I didn't. But thank you, Pluto, for having it. But I was surprised by this movie. I thought it was just going to be another one of those teacher comes in, teaches disadvantaged youths how to do something or something like that, or connect to something like that. And a little bit it is that, but luckily the acting makes up for the weak story a lot. And it's like William Hurt gives a good performance, and Molly Matlin deserved that Oscar. We'll debate who she was facing, and but she was amazing. Piper Laurie was amazing. Philip Bosco was great in this. You can really tell he loved his students. Yes, maybe I think it's good. He tried to set example of them because he he cares about Sarah a lot. It's don't you hurt her, and maybe he saw this coming because he's you're gonna try to change her, and she can't be changed. She has to change herself the way from inside by herself, and he probably did see that, and maybe that's why he was so upset that they were dating in the first place because he probably knew deep down inside that he wants to change her, and that's impossible. But Philip Bosco was great. The music for this was amazing. I loved it. It was. I think a lot of it was used just for scenery shots and stuff like that because we just need something. Mm-hmm. We just can't have them staring out into the open and stuff like that. But I thought it was great. I love the synth score of it. I thought it was just really kind of romantic and kind of romanticized the background of I'm guessing New England coast and stuff like that, and really gives in not ominous music to it, but really just a little bit of oomph to the film.
Yeah,
I really like
a
that.
little bittersweetness.
A little bit of sweetness, yeah, I like that. Melancholiness, yeah. So this movie actually was really good. I like the acting and all that stuff. I already really explained a lot during the review of this. William Hurt as an actor, once again, I can only see him as two or three things: a lawyer or a Republican trying to pass a bill into a law that is going against Medicare or something like that, or an evil empire, evil dictator or something like that. So that's it. So once again, I felt like a different actor could also done this role better. Like one who can play more serious, one who can play more silliness and also be serious at the same time, like a Jeff Daniels type or something like that. But once again, Molly Matlin gave a great performance. Her acting was phenomenal, and I love the kids. They were fun. The kids' scenes were great. So I would give this in my mind, I'm saying 3.5 stars out of 6.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll echo much of what you said. This movie could have been a walking cliche machine. In a lot of ways, it was at times, more so in the first half. And I think that a large part of that isn't actually the movie's fault. I feel like it's more based on romantic dramas, comedies that came after. Just the conventions of, boy meets girl, girl rejects boy, boy is, finally wins a date, and boy and girl fall in love. Boy finds that girl has hidden trauma and tries to, help her get over it. There are a lot of, things that we've seen here or seen before in this movie, but just for the characters' transformations, their arcs, I do think that this movie does enough to stay fresh.
Yeah.
A lot of little character moments are what make this movie special to me. The students are great to watch. Marlee Matlin obviously elevates this movie in every scene she's in. And even the superintendent, who, like you said, you just immediately get the ick from the guy thinking, oh, this guy's going to be, a real antagonist. But he's not.
No.
He's not. He's actually a delightful character.
Yeah, he cares about his students. He dances at the dances with his wife and stuff like that.
He undergoes an arc. They
undergo an arc. Another great scene with Punk Rock Kid is just like jumping up and down playing the guitar.
Punk Rock Kid's great.
Punk Rock Kid's great.
And by the end of it, he's showing his favorite book, which is a comic book. And hey, it's still better than nothing. You're reading. Now that you mention it, the only person that I can think of that doesn't have some kind of arc in this movie is, I believe his name was Johnny, the kid that never speaks.
Like I said, we just kind of dropped him. And
I think he's the only one. I mean, hell, like I said, the superintendent has an arc. William has an arc.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I don't know. I think I really like this, I'm not saying like Johnny, like he accepts Johnny and has this like great scene where it's like, Johnny, I accept you. Or something like that.
No, but they
just like like going away for something. It's like, Johnny, good summer. And then he just waves goodbye.
Oh, to be clear, that would have been a terrible inclusion.
Yeah.
Such an explicit, that whole scene at the end when he and Johnny have this understanding that, hey, this kid's not going to speak, he's not interested in it, and James lets it go. That is the way that the audience knows, okay, he's learned his lesson. He realizes that not everything is broken. That doesn't meet his mold of how somebody should behave or act or whatever. This movie sets itself up to be a big cliche machine, and it ends up flipping the script by the end just enough to remain fresh, to earn its sappy kind of predictable ending. I would say predictable. I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily. Overall, I really enjoyed watching this. Mm-hmm. I think all the components worked: acting, music, set pieces, cinematography, what have you, photography. It all worked great. Will I remember this movie a couple years from now? Probably not the fine details. But just on Marlee Matlin alone and William, I'm going to give this movie 3.75 out of 6
went up, man,
stars.
Right.
Just barely. And I had that written before you gave your review.
Good.
So I did not steal anything from you. Okay. I think that we're kind of simpatico with this.
Yeah, definitely.
Good movie. Enjoyable. If you can find it, watch it.
Yeah, it's free on Pluto, and you can rent it anywhere. Stuff like that.
Definitely enjoyed it.
So now it's time for Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Roger Ebert, the man of many movies, gave this film 3 stars. So he kind of agreed with us.
Okay.
He basically had the same, not the same complaints we had, but about the ones I was bringing up during the review. He's saying we don't really see her side. We only see his side, and her side is communicated by him, so it's still his side. He says, main complaint, by telling the whole story from Hert's point of view, the movie makes the woman into the stubborn object, the challenge, the problem, which is the very process it wants to object to.
Fuck David Lynch, end quote.
Yes. Which weird, you go to his website, every film review, even if it's not a David Lynch film, is just fuck David Lynch at the very end. He says the love story is very predictable. They're going to end up together, but the acting makes up for it, and their chemistry makes up for it, too.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yes, that's his opinion. The Academy Awards, they thought very highly of this movie too. It was nominated for 5 nominations: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Screenplay based on material from another medium. Which, of course, this was based off of a play made in 1979, which ran for about 3 years, about 800 performances, and was nominated for 3 Tonys.
Oh,
yes,
not too shabby.
Yeah, the man who wrote this movie, Mark Mead, sorry, what's his name?
Mark Medoff.
Medoff, yes, Mark Medoff, also wrote the screenplay. It was based off. He wanted to make a movie about a actress who was also deaf. Yes, her name was Phyllis Filech. He thought that she would be perfect for the role. It was based on the relationship between Phyllis and her actual husband, Robert Steinberg. So that's the origins of the play itself. Okay, so this didn't win any Oscars except for the Best Actress, of course, and that was Molly Matlin. She was going against Jane Fonda in The Morning After, which I have no idea what that movie is about. I've never heard of that movie until just now. Sissy Spacek of Crimes of the Heart. Kathleen Turner.
Baby.
Kathleen Turner and Peggy Sue Got Married, which is great. I love that movie. It's actually a really good movie. And Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. The only one I think could have beaten Molly Matlin. I have never seen Aliens, I must admit. That's one of my great sins. I've never seen Aliens.
You never seen Aliens?
No, I've never seen Aliens.
Have you seen the first one at least?
No.
Oh my
I know,
god,
shocking.
get out of here.
Very shocking, yes.
Wow.
But, I think the only reason why she maybe have not won the Oscar, is because it's a sci-fi film, and genre films are not allowed in the Oscar winners. They're not.
Yeah.
Like, no. I don't know. Have you seen Aliens, CJ?
I've seen Aliens.
Yes.
How would
you rate the performance of Sigourney Weaver in Aliens?
Oh, she's outstanding.
Exactly. So maybe that's why she didn't win. I think that's the only one I can see beating Molly Matlin for the Oscar during that year.
She had no chance against Marley Matlin.
Yeah.
Just knowing how the Academy votes, and even if I was tasked to choose, I don't know how I'd choose. Would I rather watch Aliens? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Marley Matlin in this movie is something special. And the fact that she's obviously kind of playing... I'm sure there's some of her life experience in this role, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's, extraordinary in it.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, Sigourney didn't stand a chance.
The only interesting thing about this Oscar, this was the only year that David Lynch was nominated for Best Director, I believe, which is Blue Velvet.
Oh, you sure it wasn't Dune?
No, it's not Dune. I wish it was Dune. So yeah, so that is Children of the God. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Do we talk about Children of a Lesser Clod now?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to go over the films of 1986, but do you really care about the film? Go over it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck it.
I'll go over it. The top 10 films of 1986. Number 1, Top Gun. Number 2, Crocodile Dundee. Number 3, Karate Kid Part 2.
Okay.
Number 4, Back to School.
Nice.
Number 5, Aliens.
Nice.
Number 6, Color Purple. Number 7, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
Great installment.
Yeah. Number 8, Ruthless People. Number 9, Out of Africa. Boo!
Ooh.
Movie's boring, I heard.
I just booed because you booed,
Oh.
and I love booing. I have a coworker that he always busts my balls, so anytime he comes in the office, I boo him. It's great.
That's great.
People don't boo each other enough.
Yeah, I think we need more boos.
Yeah, instead of giving someone the finger when they cut you off,
Yeah.
here's a good one. My cousin's husband told me this.
Yeah.
This is far more biting because it requires a lot more effort. Give him a thumbs down.
Yeah.
And shake your head.
Yeah.
That, to me, is so much more biting than the finger.
His finger just pisses people off, but thumbs down gives them shame.
It's like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Disappointed,
You cut me off. What are you doing?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah.
And number 10 was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Only 10?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I always thought that movie did gangbusters.
It could be because I think Ferris Bueller was 1984, and it was just a carry-on. It could have been released in December, and this carried on.
I hope so, because Out of Africa in no world should outgross fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mm-hmm. That was 85 Out of Africa, too, and that was the best picture winner of last year, of 1985.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this movie, Children of the God, ranked 46 out of 200 films, according to Box Office Mojo. So made a little bit of money.
All right, good.
Yeah, so that is actually all of Children of the God. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of it. But now let's move on to something else completely different. It's now time for a review of the Simpsons episode Children of a Lesser Clod.
Yes, Children of a Lesser Clod, Season 12, Episode 20.
Written by Al Jean, original air date May 13th, 2001. I was in kindergarten.
I was in 5th grade.
You're old. So great to be in.
Yes, the chalkboard gag on this one is today is not Mothra's Day.
Yeah, I didn't understand that joke until I actually watched the episode and you explained Mother's Day. I'm like, oh, I got the joke. Okay.
It's the end of the season, so it definitely aired in May 13th, like you said.
Yeah.
And yes, as you mentioned, this is under the Al Jean era, which, as many Simpsons diehards will know or will tell you, this is post-Golden Era.
Yeah.
For sure. This is when we reach what many people consider to be the jerk-ass Homer era, where Homer is no longer the loving family man.
Yeah.
The guy that will...
And you can definitely tell in this episode. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's jerk-ass Homer in this episode.
Yeah. And also, I don't think we saw the couch gag, though, but the couch gag is the Simpsons are a family crash test dummy, and they get slammed into a TV as part of the test, and Homer's dummy head falls off. Sudden trauma.
Yeah, okay. I remember this episode. I remember watching this with my older cousin when this aired. I was actually at a family party. We had a family get together, and I remember he was watching this, and at the time I was like, oh, just don't tell my parents. They probably wouldn't have cared, but, you know, I don't think I was really supposed to be watching The Simpsons, but I don't think they were really giving a shit. I've always kind of enjoyed this from, as an episode of its era. This does not hold up. Even the episodes we watched, the Canine Mutiny.
Yeah.
That one is from probably my favorite season, season 8.
Yeah.
That's considered one of the weakest of that season.
Definitely,
That is still
far better
leagues above this episode. Sideshow Bob Roberts, leagues above this episode.
Man. That was season 6. People consider that like the best season. So
6 and 8 are probably the 6 through 8.
Yeah.
That's the peak golden era in my opinion.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily a bad episode. It has not aged well.
Yeah.
Especially
I kind of feel like it's not the Family Guy effect, because I think Family Guy had 1999 actually. So
yeah.
It could have been a little bit of that too. It's
you
just
see
like
some cutaway gags.
It's like there's no heart. It's just a lot of there was cutaway gags, crude humor.
Yeah.
Like the Krusty the Clown stuff that wasn't really funny. It was like the hypno thing. I'm like, what's that? What's that joke? I don't like.
Yeah, I think that the strength in this episode, not even so much, it's kind of when Homer gets his comeuppance, there's some funniness.
Yeah.
I would argue, though, that the actual best scene in this is, my favorite gag anyway, is when Flanders first asks him to watch Rod and Todd because he has to go to a Christian rock show, and his ticket is Chris Rock.
Like, I've never seen a pastor say something MFers in my life. My favorite is where Homer is getting out of the hospital and he's talking to Dr. Hibbert, and he's like, "We have never squandered, never ran out of check on lives." And it's like, "What's that? A bear! Look, a bear!" And he gets on the chair and he breaks his leg again, and then the bear just walks into the scene.
Yeah, he makes a run for it only to refracture his leg, and the bear comes in.
And then there was a scene, the very end, where he gets caught and he's trying to escape, but then the action helicopter explaining what's happening. It's like, he's too fat. He's stuck in the pipe.
And I love the line when Kent Brockman says, "Arnie, but are the kids okay?" "I can't see through metal, Kent." That is a really funny recurring. It's a very it's very scarce. Not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a joke that is frequent, but there's always a long running bitterness between Kent Brockman and Arnie Pye, the helicopter reporter, and that is always funny when it shows up. That's a good scene. You're absolutely right. Most of the stuff in the middle with Homer being a negligent daycare runner, meh.
Yeah, it's okay. And it's like,
I will say I do love in the YMCA opening scene with the basketball game when Lenny gets mad that he gets fouled. And he takes his ball and goes home, and Rainier Wolfcastle says the hunt is on and chases him because he had just.
I love the sign. I love the signs in the show. That was good. It was the first sign. I said. Now 30% less stank.
In the YMCA.
Yeah, the YMCA. That
is always a strength of the show.
Yeah, the signs. Yeah, but this is definitely like a middle of the road episode.
Yeah, for season 12, I'd give this a 7. For this show as a whole, I'm gonna give it a 4.
6.5 maybe.
I'll give it
6?
a 4.5. I'll be generous and give it. I mean, the show's peak is some of the best television ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is.
It's hard to.
And I would actually argue the recent seasons have been very good.
Yeah, people said that Simpsons are good again. You know,
It
because
is
they actually
good.
include heart or something. Probably something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
They've not been afraid to experiment with different formats, which after 30 plus years, my God, you have to.
Yeah.
They've made Homer a nice, relatable character who's not perfect,
Yeah.
but he's nice again.
Yeah.
Nah, it's had a return to form somewhat.
Yeah.
And that's great to see.
Definitely.
But yeah, overall, not a great
Yeah.
episode.
How would you rank the episodes we watched?
Sideshow Bob Roberts, Canine Mutiny, and this.
Yeah.
Easy.
Me too. Yeah.
Easy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, that was a review.
Spin the wheel!
Okay. Okay. Geez, TJ, I'll spin the wheel. Okay. God. Okay, we only have 2 movies left. That's Pigs and Battleships and Profound something of a something.
Lester, goddammit, spin the wheel!
Fine! Spinning the wheel now! What do we got? It is... Pigs and Battleships!
Oh, I can't wait. Is this going to be anything like Pigs and Blankets?
No.
Oh,
I wish there were Pigs and Blankets, though. Man, I'm hungry.
I know, me too. That
Alright.
sounds good.
Anyway, that's us so, folks. If you like us, please rate, subscribe, and follow us on other platforms, such as Twitter at @it_dammit for new episodes, and our Facebook page, It's Student Us.
Yep.
You can follow us. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on SoundCloud. I will not pay $20 to Apple. I will not do it, TJ.
I'm with you, man.
No more paying. I paid enough.
I'm with you.
I paid enough. People on Apple, too damn bad. Okay? Yeah, but thank you for listening. I'm Mo, and I don't really have a line. I love apples.
And I'm TJ, and I'm finally able to put down my middle finger.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Hope you have a good time. Here is Robert Mitchum playing us out. Bye!
Adios.